Well, hello and good evening on this Monday. This is week 5 of Link to the Past Randomizer Season 3. We got a good race tonight. 2 teams here in the Skull Woods division, the Invitational League, and we're running mystery. So we're going to find out the settings as things progress. I'm Lumaga, one of your commentators. My co-com tonight here is JP. JP, how you doing?
Doing all right. Looking forward to this. This is our first mystery of the Invitational League. We've had a couple Open League matches so far, but Invitational is kicking off right here, and it looks like we can tell some stuff already. Looks like we can tell it's Randomizer of some form. We have starting boots. And because we have starting boots, we also can tell this will not be entrance.
Yeah, definitely can tell Randomizer. The EN 6.0.32 is a direct giveaway. We won't know if it's full Randomizer or if it's only boss shuffle. We'll find that out soon. And then, yeah, there is some other conditional logic that's built into the mystery weights for League. So as you mentioned, one of them.
Yep. So the reason we can tell from boots if it's entrance or not is because the entrance randomizer doesn't work with the customizer very well. So if customizer is active for something like giving us starting boots, we know entrance cannot be active.
Yeah, so just a little note about these 2 teams. It's their first match. You mentioned it's the first race here of the mystery week. Sphere Affinity is currently here at 3 points. CLW at 9 points. Both of them kind of have a bit of a tough road ahead for the end of the season. But that's true about a lot of very good teams here in the Invitational League. There's no easy matches.
Yeah, Sphere Affinity not out of it yet, but they really need to run the table if they want to make the playoffs. And CLW in a decent position, but definitely needs everyone they can get. CLW is currently 5th in their division, tied for 5th, while Sphere Affinity is in last place in their division. And it looks like we have an open seed and a green 20. Not a good start. That could mean several different things. Most likely means we've got hard mode. But that could also be swordless.
It could also be boots, because we started with them, and the boots will be replaced with a big 20. But your point still stands that there's a lot to be known here.
Yeah, if we see another green 20, we definitely know that was not just the boots.
Well, so we do have some form of dungeon shuffling, and if I'm not mistaken, the compasses, keys, maps, and big keys are shuffled independently.
Yes, in non-entrance mode, they are shuffled independently. In entrance, it's either Folky Sandy or nothing, but in this mode, we could have any combination of those 4 shuffles.
All right, we did find money and a cape over her GFE's end in Sahasrala's closet, and a bunch of more money on the lumberjack. Unlikely to get that today.
So in a mystery seed, your first goal is generally to find out what your goal is. You need to know what you need to focus on. So these runners want to get to Dark Worlds. They want to get to Eastern Dark Worlds. They want to figure out what they need to do.
Yeah, because there's going to be a sign. Ooh, there's a power glove. There's going to be a sign on the pyramid, which will tell you, what your ultimate goal is, as you mentioned. There's also another sign up in Ganon's Tower where it'll tell you what you need to enter. This could be very well could be a reduced crystal seed. We don't know that just yet.
Now, since it is non-entrance, we do know that if they need to kill Ganon, they'll need a minimum of 3 crystals. But we will need to check that signpost to find out exactly what it is. We could also find out if it happens to be a PED seed if they have the book.
Yes, as we've been debating other modes, one thing we mentioned is that it is Randomizer. We know that it's got to be boss shuffle, but now we will still need to figure out, is it full? Maybe it's chaos shuffle. There's a couple of different modes within that.
Yep. It'll be pretty hard to find out which exact boss shuffle it is unless we see 3 of one boss. Then we can figure it out pretty easily. But the difference basically between them is simple boss shuffle shuffles all the bosses with the first 3 shuffled twice. Full's the same except it chooses 3 random bosses twice, and then random is any boss can appear any number of times within the restrictions of the boss arenas.
Yeah, you could end up with something really crazy and chaotic, like 4 trinexes, as long as they can fit the rooms.
So from that small key pickup, we can tell that it's not a small key shuffle. But we haven't confirmed big keys yet.
So that makes it interesting. We saw a map pickup and a compass pickup, and here's a hammer pickup. But we saw those 2 dungeon items both indicate those are shuffled, which opens up a little bit more in the dungeons, right? At least 2 items each here in the dungeons to grab, kind of like a key sanity.
There's an ether medallion. We don't know if we need that yet. We are just a Moon Pearl from Dark World access, and getting that Moon Pearl would be good because, like, as I said, we want to get that goal found out as soon as possible.
Yeah, that'll allow them to take the portal just south of Link's house, head up to the pyramid, and of course, Hive Cave and Pod would be accessible at that point too. Still plenty to see what we got to do here. So I don't think we've seen anything outside of Kakariko, save I think Link's house.
Now, as Chad's bringing up, there are sprites for small keys and big keys in the menu when there's a small key or big key shuffle. I don't know if we've actually seen either of these runners' menu yet, though.
Yeah, and with Quick Swap enabled, they're probably not going to use the menu as much. So unless they really can't navigate with the L and R buttons to the item they want, then we'll probably see the menu.
I guess Swerb did pause for just a minute and didn't see any keys. So if that's the case, then we just have a map and compass shuffle. There's our first bottle. Got Swerb and Mini Moldworm Cave. I think GFE is going for this blind.
Oh yeah. But Swerb saw that, and it was nothing up here.
Yep.
Well, second bottle and a bunch of cash here in Mini Moldworm Cave. Running out of logical places where we could maybe pick up a Moon Pearl if we wanted to get to the pyramid, see the goal. But what do we got? Ice Rod Cave. You could fake flipper over to Hobo and such. Agina's still in play.
Yeah, they still have options like Eastern. We haven't seen it all. They could sequence break up Death Mountain if they really wanted to. Oh, there's a fire rod. That's an interesting find.
Yeah, one of those items you're likely going to need. Although, depending on the crystal layout, maybe not.
Well, actually, you are going to guaranteed need Well, actually, can't say guaranteed. If you need to kill Ganon, you guaranteed need either the fire rod or the lamp. Because to kill Ganon, at minimum, you're going to need 2 swords and a way to light the torches. Now, Chad asking about swordless. We haven't ruled it out yet. We haven't ruled it as a possibility yet either. Unfortunately, we kind of won't know that until a little later. We'll need to either see some pre-cut vines, we'll need to go into ice and see some medallion placements, or they're just going to need to like go into try to check bombos with the hammer, with the book and hammer, and they're able to check without a sword.
Yeah, a couple of indicators on that mode, aside from never finding a sword. But there's a couple of telltale giveaways. We did see that Tower of Hera is our first crystal, at least from what we have as far as maps.
A little bit of divergence. GFE going to do some fake flipper checks while Swerb goes into Eastern. No money for Zora right now unless he gets a 300 pack here. There's a Canis Mario.
No, still a nice pickup. Storing that water walk. Maybe it should still be able to get Zora ledge if there's anything. Nope, not today.
Now, chat talking about item difficulty here. So the way Mystery Week works now is item pool would be different. There's a chance of harder expert and non-entrance. Item functionality, though, is unaffected. There is no change to item functionality. All items will function as normal.
Yeah, and so what you mean by that is, for example, the blue cane wouldn't work outside of, say, Spike Cave, I believe, in hard and expert mode. Or there's some other things which make the seed a bit more difficult, which we won't see today.
Yeah, everything will function as usual. As your example with Burna. Burna in hard and experts will not offer you any invulnerability. You can still use it as for offense, or as Swerb just did there, maybe to light your way in a room. But yeah, otherwise it wouldn't function normally. And the cape would drain your magic really fast.
Yeah.
But that's not a concern at all this week.
Well,
all right.
There it is.
There's our Moon Pro, which was readily available from the start.
You know, I don't blame either one of these runners for not going up to Uncle right away. It took them a little bit to get a weapon, right? And you're not going to want to go anywhere near escape without a weapon, or maybe you're satisfied with a bomb escape. But now that he has that hammer and the fire rod, he's probably comfortable where he is.
I think Swerb pretty much came up empty in Eastern. So GFE does have that fire rod. It can light the torches in these rooms, and Dark Cross is in logic with fire rod. So
Dark Cross in logic, and has the key, so he'll probably be taking the long way here to the front. Swerb only has access to the back. There's that key. Okay, so that key was already at the back. That's where GFE got it.
Surprised GFE has not lit this torch. Well, now he's got to use a potion if he wants to light the torch.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
that's blue mail, so that's big info. So we have a normal item pool, but we still have to ask about that green 20. Is that just the boots placements, or do we have swordless? Those are basically our two options right now.
Right. So yeah, you're right. A couple things here. That there is 2 torches next to that chest, which could have been lit, but GFE had not done that. And I really want to get confirmation on what this is, because that's going to have implications for what these
We're about
what
to
these
find
guys
out.
do.
GFE's going to try to hammer this. If he hammers this, it's swordless. Okay, it's not swordless.
Okay. Yeah, because the hammer will act as a sword in certain areas, of course, there, and the 2 tablets if you have a book. And a medallion. The medallion spots, I think, too.
So that green 20 was just a bit of a red herring.
Well, it's a shame he didn't come down here sooner. There's Zora money, plus a few more.
So after they're done here, I have to imagine at least one of these runners is going to head for the pyramid, if not both of them. They want that gold information as soon as possible. GFE leaves that key behind because he doesn't need it. He's got the extra key that he never used. Swerb did bring up the menu there, and we did see no small, no big key icon. So, yeah, that confirms fully that it's just map compass shuffle.
All right, I think the only thing separating these two now is that blue mail and that Canis Samaria. GFE is headed straight for this portal. Swerb also headed for this. No.
GFE has a different, and so does Swerb. What are they both thinking? Oh, GFE never checked this. Okay.
That's right. Swerb did this. GFE did not. And I think we might get a fake flipper here on Swerv's end because he has already done the Ice Rod Cave.
A little surprised by this, but I guess he just want to be thorough.
So,
he does have Zora money.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you though, when I play Mystery, it's not too uncommon for me to forget to go right away to the pyramid and check what my goal is and play this like a normal seed.
So on the sword side, we can definitely for sure now say it is a randomized sword, since Uncle didn't give us a sword as well. That also eliminates the vanilla sword possibility.
Yeah, and 4 swords are in there because we've determined it's normal item pools as well.
Okay, that's a spot for the book.
And gosh, as much as I'd like to see GFE do desert, I'd also like to see him spend the time to see if he needs to do desert.
Yeah, this is you can full clear desert right here, and one thing that's worth remembering with map and compass shuffle, I don't know if that was intentional by GFE, by the way. But one thing to remember with map and compass shuffle is that dungeons will have 2 extra items in them, so going for dungeons isn't a bad idea.
Yeah, and I think we've also determined that the big key is going to be in their dungeon, so small keys and big keys will be in their own dungeons. So this will be clearable.
Actually, maybe not. We were reminded one thing. This is boss shuffle. There's no guarantee this is clearable.
Correct. Right. This is an atomizer, so you could have anything up there.
Oh,
I think. Gosh. Oh, there's the ice rod. That puts some things in logic I don't want to see.
Trinex is now on logic. We find one. And
imagine GFE running into Trinex up here.
That's a bad spot for the ice rod to be if we find a Trinex. Now, we remember it could be reduced crystals, so even if I find a Trinex, we might not have to kill it. But hopefully Swerb will give us that information here shortly.
Well, we're about to get a lot of information in these next few screens. So not only the Hype Cave items, we'll also see the goal from Swerb. We'll see the boss here from GFE.
There's our other mail upgrades. Alright, so never mind. Swerve's not going to go check the goal yet.
Okay. Just be patient. We'll figure it out eventually.
So our possible goals right now are defeat Ganon or fast Ganon, somewhere between 3 and 7 crystals required, an all dungeon seed, or Master Sword pedestal goal.
Yeah, I think the only thing we've determined it, of course, is the Triforce Hunt, because otherwise we would see that Triforce icon up in the top menu.
Now, one risk, GFE, as he goes to the back, he technically can clear 8 of 10 bosses, but because he used that potion, I don't know if he's got another one. If he runs into a cold steer here, he's not going to have enough magic after he lights these torches.
No, he's going to take 2 shots here to light this, and there's not enough magic refill under these pots to save him. And he doesn't have a sword to manipulate the sword beams as a double hit as well.
And he realizes that, so he's going to go back and try to get a little more magic.
That's a real good heads-up play.
So now if he runs into Cold Stare, he can kill it.
He's not going to have fun doing it, though.
Oh, Mothula. Oh. Okay, this is pretty easy.
Yeah, so Moth outside of her vanilla dungeon, Skull Woods, is a pretty trivial boss. It's not Mothula, it's the spikes that really add the challenge there, and GFE proves it.
But that was a pendant. Now that might not be bad. We don't know yet.
No, because if Swerb tells us here, with this check on the pyramid, that it's a pedestal goal, then that pendant puts GFE up one piece of it.
And we actually would know all of our pendant dungeons now. Desert, Hera, and Skull Woods. Which would put us pretty close. Let's see what it is. 5 crystals. And I don't see an open Ganon hole.
Nope. Okay, so it's a defeat Ganon, 5 crystals. We got to see how many we need for the tower in order to see how many dungeons we need to do. And if I'm not mistaken, our tracker, I will put a lot of faith in the tracker. I do believe I saw a crystal on Hera, but our tracker says otherwise.
One of our admins here too confirms Hera's a crystal, so we don't know what our other pendant is just yet. Swerb is going to go check Catfish, another isolated little spot. This is good for GFE because he's at least going to get his ice rod.
Yeah, now, there's no guarantee we'll run into a Trinex, but it's good to have just in case you do.
More likely than not, there is at least a Trinex in the pool. But yeah, we don't know if we're actually going to run into it. I think this is part of the fun of Mystery Week too, especially as commentators, trying to figure out what the seed is, what they need to do. I think even for the runners in a way, it's fun to try to figure this out as you go.
I enjoy mystery for that reason alone. I could wind up with something really terrible, but just figuring out how terrible it actually is half the fun.
And in terms of a mystery seed, this one honestly is kind of on the tamer side. Not much different really so far than a open boots.
Yeah, open boots, reduced crystals, Randomizer, defeat cannon is what we know so far. I don't think there's a whole lot. Oh, and the compass and maps are shuffled. There's not a whole lot more to really determine. But about these settings, the weights here in the league are a little bit more palatable than, say, mystery for some of the other parts of the community. You can make them as nice or as mean as you want, and we wanted to make. It seems like we wanted to make mystery a little bit more accessible to runners here.
I think that's a fair thing to do because not all these runners play mystery regularly. I mean, especially I guess in the Invitational, you should be expected to be able to handle any of this. But at the same time, you don't want to put runners in a situation they're just not going to have any fun with. I mean, some of these mystery formats can get really, really messy.
Yeah. So as GFE figures out that this is a reduced crystal defeat cannon, we got Swerb in Skull Woods. He can get all the way to the back, but we do need to figure out if what boss that is. And it is a green pendant, so it doesn't further our goal directly.
And he can go for the boss if he wants to. As you mentioned, it is a green pendant. Well, actually, he can't go for the boss right now. He has no sword.
Oh, that's right. Yep, this is not swordless, so he's going to have to cut those vines with something.
So the other big piece now of the puzzles is going to be finding out what the Ganon's Tower access is. If it's less than the Ganon, the number of crystals for Ganon, then there's potential for required items for crystal dungeons in GT. If it's more, then you essentially, let's say you have 6 or 7 GT access, then at the end of the day, this is essentially 6 crystal or 7 crystal to defeat Ganon.
Yep.
Oh, actually, PJ makes a good point. Swerb doesn't know it's not swordless yet. Only GFE has that info.
Right, so we know that it's not swordless. Maybe I missed the nuance of how one knows and one doesn't.
How he knows is from hammering that barrier at the Aga Tower.
That's right. Yep.
But I guess Swerve's not going to check that and just going to leave, which makes a lot of sense too, since it is pendant.
He's debating. He's debating if that heart is worth getting. 5 hearts in the Dark World is not an easy thing, especially with no sword here.
If this was if this was hard or expert, I'd really think about it. But normal, you're going to find hearts.
Yeah, the cap of hearts is much lower in hard and expert. Here's our ped check.
That is
Powder
powder.
on the ped. Oh boy.
So these runners are going to want to find a mushroom and just never worry about that. With it being reduced crystals, more likely than not, that's just going to sit there.
Well, we're going to have to remember that you said that just in case. All right, we get a first dip into Thieves Town. And with the compass and map shuffled, instead of our normal 4, we'll have 6 items in here.
There's a bow. That is the ability to clear Eastern and Pod. Pod will be slightly out of logic, but actually I think Eastern is technically too, since the big key was vanilla in Eastern.
Yeah, does not have a lantern to make the big key location in logic. Although that's not a difficult dark room to navigate. These runners will take care of it.
There's a flute. So if you're over these runners actually right now, you want to find the mitts. Because the mitts are the next big thing that'll get you information and just really tell you where to go next.
Yeah, you still need a lot to figure out the GT entrance requirements.
Oh, Swerb, you should have gone north and checked that boss.
Good point. In Boss Randomizer, you don't need to rescue the maiden. In fact, I don't believe the maiden is even there, and the boss will be available right from the start.
Yeah, that's one thing that's easy to figure out in Thieves Town, though, is you don't have to rescue the maiden. The boss is ready to go. That is also one thing that makes Randomizer a little interesting for Thieves Town, is that some runners will just do the fronts, beat the boss, and then leave whatever's in the back behind.
Yeah, there's one of those hard pieces you mentioned we'd run into.
So yeah, I think once Swerv's out of here, the next big play is going to be Eastern and Pods. Because I'm trying to think of what else you've got right now. And there's actually no with flutes. Well, flute we can go up Death Mountain, but we only have really one check in logic up there right now. No mirror and no hook shot.
And no lamp, so even old man is not in logic.
There's mirror.
Okay, so that definitely points you to Death Mountain, just like we're talking about. You could actually get all the way to the east side via the mirror and then hammer.
Now that's interesting, because if GFV goes into Thieves Town, there's no guarantee he's going to go there. Hey, there's some Armos Knights. We got a bow for him.
Yeah, that makes this boss a lot easier. He does have a couple of other things that could damage Armos, but none of them are fun fights. Samaria will damage him, and I think Hammer will damage him, but it's not fun to do.
That is Swerv's first crystal. Actually, our first crystal of the match. Did also get a shovel. So yeah, for Swerve now, he's got Eastern and Pod. He could combo easily. He has all of Death Mountain. Well, all of Light Death Mountain. So he's got options.
Yeah, he might want to exhaust what he can out of the overworld here in both Light and Dark World before heading up the mountain and getting mitts, because then he can easily check what the entrance requirement is for GT. But there are so many items up there, it's hard to put that off for too long.
Now, it is worth knowing with these settings, at minimum, I believe GT is 3 crystals to access as well. Could be wrong on that, though.
Yes, the lowest you can get in this type of seed in Mystery in League is a 3-3.
Yep, you're correct. To get lower, it has to be entrance, but in non-entrance, both at minimum will require 3.
Right.
So I would say Eastern Pod is the better play here, just so you can get at least one more crystal before climbing Death Mountain.
Yeah, knowing where 2 of those pendants are, one of those at least is guaranteed to be the crystal. You could get 2, and then hey, if GT is a 3 crystal entrance, you can head up there somewhat.
By the way, GFE is playing this the same way Swerb did. Didn't do the boss right away. Might have just forgot about that. But it's going to work out because he's going to get the mirror.
So that shovel we found on the Armos Knights in Thieves Town coming into play. Yeah. You'll take it. You spent the trouble to get it.
Yeah, Swerve's going to do exactly what I said, and he's going to go combo Eastern Pod.
And gotta be careful once he gets Kiki the monkey, because he doesn't have enough money to pay for Kiki twice.
Yeah, but he also knows the stun prize is red rubies. So if he does accidentally take that hit, he's got an easy way to get him.
Yes, actually, we did just see that when just before he did the shovel, he stunned a guard and got the 20 off of him. All right, there's the mirror for GFE.
Somebody mentioning in chat about beatable logic. Beatable logic is actually possible. The weights, I believe, put a 35% chance of beatable.
Yep, that's correct.
So that is one thing that's interesting, in that some of these dungeons aren't necessarily completable. I mean, we might have only 5 of our crystal dungeons that can actually be completed.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point. In Beatable, once the randomizer figures out you have enough to beat the seed, it doesn't really mind logic anymore. You can put the lamp, which is right now locking this Eastern Palace Big Key that Swerve's going for, behind or on this boss. So it's definitely possible that if it's beatable, this may not be intended. But beatable logic is kind of funny. It's not going to be a material thing unless you're really funneled into a linear, hyperlinear seed.
New check from GFE. We're going to see what's on the graveyard ledge. Just some bombs.
And we got a new boss coming up. I've already seen the Armos Knights. We could very well see them again right here, but today we got blind.
These bosses have been kind to these runners so far.
Yeah, especially with the Kane and Berna. This is kind of an easy fight to cheese.
I believe did we just see a GFE pick up the Quake medallion?
Yep, we did. So we've got 2 of these medallions. Don't know if either one is required, but we have them nonetheless. And we also have another crystal for Swerb.
So next up will most likely be Pod. Without a sword or not a lamp, this is going to be a little bit trickier for Pod, because some of these dark rooms in Pod are pretty difficult.
Yeah, so the basement is not too bad with just the 2 anti-fairies. Dark Maze, you can learn the pattern, not too difficultly, but that turtle room at the very bottom, just before Helma, that can give you trouble. It does have the fire rod, and there is a torch in that room, so I don't think it'll be too difficult. It's not something I'd like to do in either case, though.
So as usual for Pod, we're getting a bunch of small keys in the front. There's a sword.
So if you didn't believe us earlier, we knew it was not swordless, so there's one. So we know that big 20, the first chest we opened in Link's house was a replacement for the boots, which we started with.
Yeah, it gave us a bit of a scare to start, but yep, now fully confirmed, so... Would have been nice if this was a normal open seed and you got the boots in that chest, but for our purposes, that was probably more trouble than it was worth. Hey, there's some flippers.
So that's our entrance to Swamp Palace, because we know the key is going to be in the front. Small keys not being shuffled here.
Well, we assume it's going to be in the front. There is a chance it's not. Just going back to that beatable logic.
We don't know that it's not beatable. You're right.
Yeah, on the off chance it's beatable logic and you don't need to do Swamp Palace, the Swamp Small could end up not being in that chest.
Yeah, I think that'll be a pretty good confirmation if we don't see it. If we do see that in the first chest, if they still go there, it doesn't tell us that it's not beatable. And it's the second sword. Okay.
GFP's a bit mad.
Oh, that's a bummer, because we did find one here, the big key chest of Pod, and then we know where the second one is, but you need one to get it. Actually, you need 2 to get it. You need Master Sword to get the tablets.
We're gonna set up our hammy jump here. A lot of runners prefer to do Dark Maze in reverse, just because they find it a little easier. I kind of agree with that too.
Yeah, it's very useful in like a key sanity seed where you may not have all the small keys coming in. This one, he would eventually find the small keys along with that bombos he picked up at the bottom, but it saves you a little bit of time either way.
Interesting, he mirrored out. I'm guessing he's been counting his items, so it must just be the... Wait. Uh-oh. Why would he mirror out? That was guaranteed another item in that maze. there's no maps and compasses guaranteed in here.
Ooh, that's a good point.
I'm hoping that's nothing big there. He probably is assuming his item count of 5. He counted a 5th item and thinks it's just map and compass left.
It's very possible, but at this stage, even if he figures out the mistake at this point, you got to roll with it. It would take too much time to go back, and it'd be nothing. And if GFE gets it and it's something, well, yeah, he'll be in trouble, but we'll see.
Even if it is progression, there's no guarantee he actually will end up needing it, because if it's you have all 7 crystals accessible and you only need to clear 5, then if it ends up being progression, it could end up not even being a problem. Nice magic refill there. You always want full magic going into a boss in Randomizer. At this point, both runners have a 90% chance of being able to clear any boss. The only one they can't clear will be Trinex. Not Trinex, Argus.
Yep. And actually, as you mentioned that, you do remind me that this is boss Randomizer. I'm expecting Helma here, but today it looks like it's going to be landless. Yeah. An empty room typically means landless because he has to pop out from the bottom.
I mean, for a boss shuffle, this has honestly been really easy for them.
Yeah, it's all been, early and mid-game bosses. No Vitreous, Cold Stare, or Trinex just yet. We may or may not see them depending on what flavor of boss shuffle this is, but if it's even full boss shuffle, we should see them.
So yeah, Swerb's gonna leave that item behind. We're definitely gonna see it from GFE, because it's gonna be the first chest he's gonna check in the Dark Maze.
All right, fans of GFE and Swerb, cross your fingers.
Worst thing would be mitts, because those would okay, it's just a heart.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if those are the mitts, that's probably game, because that's the one item Swerb can't miss. Because those are absolutely going to be required.
Yeah, he's going to need those to get to GT, which still don't have access to, and don't know how many crystals we'll need. We've got 3 of our 5 needed for Ganon.
Okay, I think Swerb just...
He didn't notice if it was a fast Ganon earlier.
Yeah, he didn't notice it, so he went up there to check. To be fair, I've done that exact same thing before. I've run to the pyramid to check my goal and forgotten to take an extra step or 2 north just to see if that hole was actually open. So, at minimum, we need 2 more crystals. We might have GT access at this point. But, well, actually, we don't have GT access guaranteed. We might have the crystals to open it, but we need the mitts to be able to get to it.
Absolutely. So, we're running out of places we can go. I guess Swamp is the only real place we can go. Tower of Hera. No, we have that mirror.
That was a hookshot we just picked up on the old man.
Okay, good. Now we have our access to the back of Swamp Palace, provided it's beatable, or provided it's not beatable.
I get what you're saying there, but I think it just came out kind of weird. Provided it's not beatable.
Okay. Provided the small key is not locked behind the front door of Swamp Palace. There we go.
Yeah, it did kind of just. It's just really weird how it's said. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, the seed's beatable. What do you mean? Yes, of course it's beatable.
Alright, there's our lamp. And a second sword. Can get the third sword can get the third sword, though I don't think he knows Bombos has it.
Yeah, GFE was the one who scouted that out. Unfortunately, without any swords, having picked his Master Sword up in Pod. Now he's got 2 crystals to Swerb's 3.
Now, chat talking about go mode. Not go mode for sure. We need mitts at a minimum to get to GT. But once we have mitts, yes, technically this could be go mode, provided GT is 5 crystals or less to enter. Actually, let me look. Actually, mitts is going to be go mode regardless, I think.
Yeah, because we can enter any dungeon at that point. Or we can beat any dungeon and any boss at that point.
So GT's not going to have any items for crystal dungeons. It's just going to be a matter of getting into GT at this point.
All right, so we're seeing the hook speed Herapod. This is one of those tricks that looks so cool, and I don't think I'll ever be able to get the spin speed one done. I think he's got it. Ah. There he goes.
So there's the small key. We know for sure now that there is an item in the basement. Answer question, chat. Swerb picked up Bombos in the Dark Maze and then mirrored. Hey, that's a vanilla Moldorm. Well, not quite vanilla, but...
Yeah, actually, interesting in the Randomizer, Moldorm's eye count. So he's got, what, 5 eyeballs here. Those are also randomized. It's so unsettling to see that, but half magic is cool to see.
That is Swerv's 4th crystal. He can get his 5th in Swamp, assuming we can get through it, which I think at this point it's probably safe to say it's not just beatable logic, but yeah, we still need those mitts. Swerb is going to play this safe and check the basement.
I 100% agree, because if you only need Titan's mitts for go mode and you're on the mountain, you want to be able to check the GT requirements right away. If Titan's mitts are either here or Spiral Cave, you don't want to pass them up.
That's a very good point.
I guess Spike Cave too.
Chat also was talking about how GFE has temper knowledge, Swerb does not, which definitely is not insignificant, because GFE could easily route Swampin as his last dungeon, grab tempered, and go to Ganon.
All right, no mitts there. And checking out... Okay, we haven't seen actually any of Spec Rock. Here's the Spec Rock Cave. Nope.
And Swerb's going to skip Spiral Cave and check Spike Cave. No, GFE picks up his 4th crystal. And our Mitts hunt continues. Right now, Swamp is looking like a good spot for them.
Starting at Link's house, I think Swerve agrees with you. All right, this will be a big tell, and we haven't seen anything so far that indicates this is beatable. But if we don't find a small key in the front, then we know for sure it's beatable. Like the mode is beatable, so to speak. There's a non-insignificant chance of that happening.
Yeah, I think we've been talking about it so much, but now watch it just be there and it's normal.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you kind of theory craft and want to see something interesting, but sometimes you're let down, and it's a small key in the front of Swamp. So I think with that, we know everything except the nature of the boss shuffle. We've not seen a duplicate boss just yet.
Now, this is some interesting information coming up for GFE right here. Just a little piece of love, though, so that nothing on either tablet. So the only advantage potentially that book is going to give for GFE is that extra sword, which definitely is not insignificant. But it does depend on where the last sword is. Unfortunately, also, GFE is kind of just behind Swerb right now, and he's just following in his footsteps, which I don't think GFE is close enough that a Tempered Sword's going to make that difference up by itself.
Now, the only thing that could make a real difference here is if GFE goes Spiral Cave and the Mitts are in Spiral Cave. Because Swerb did not do that, he did Spike Cave instead.
There's silver arrows, so the sword difference is a little less big now. But yeah, there's definitely some spots for GFE to take a different route and gain some time. I think we're kind of saying if GFE continues to follow in Swerb's footsteps, it's not gonna work out as well for him.
Yeah, there's not been a whole lot of room to gamble on really anything here. It's been more or less a linear seed, maybe save a few left turns and right turns here and there. So I don't expect anything other than maybe GFE right now following what Swerve has already done. Especially since the Mitts are the go mode item, and that really blocks a whole lot.
But I do expect we're going to see GFE check Spiral Cave next, which, if that has Mitts, puts him in a massive advantage.
Well, just a quick scout of the floating island, and this is where GFE needs to find the Mitts. Nothing here on left side Swamp. Is it here in Spiral Cave?
Oh!
Yes, it's here in Spiral Cave!
That's just put GFE in a huge advantage.
Okay, so right away, he's going to check this entrance requirement to Ganon's Tower. 5-6 are Swamp Palace and Misery Mire. Not a huge thing since we are in go mode, but good to know nonetheless.
Now, it's not the end of the world for Swerb. He's going to run out of locations quick. And so he's going to get forced to Spiral Cave. The question is, how quick does that happen?
Okay, so you say that what else does Swerb have before he's forced back up the mountain?
He still has Agina, which will lead him into deserts. And actually, that might be a good situation for him because it'll send him back up Death Mountain, and he might check Spiral then.
There's that Master Sword. Tempered Sword is just a Vamos tablet away for GFE.
Chad asking how Swerve didn't check that. It just was his routing, which was unfortunate. He chose to do Spike Cave over Spiral because he did the hookshot routes across the bridge. If he had done like the same route as GFE, it makes a lot more sense to do Spiral.
Yeah,
So GFE is in go mode, but we don't know what the GT entrance is just yet.
It's going to be anywhere from 3 to 7 crystals. Well, that's just the nature of mystery. And we saw Helmasaur, nice fight from Swerb. Gonna pick up his bomb and his crystal out in Swamp Palace.
So if you're a fan of Swerb here, you don't want a 3 or 4 crystal GT access. Or even a 5 crystal. You might want a bigger than 5 crystal access. As there's a mushroom that could allow us to get around pedestal, but we don't really care about that anyway.
Yeah, there's nothing on Magic Bath that would make us want to go there. And I'm wondering what GFE is actually looking for. He should know by now he's in go mode, and we'll find out what the requirement to enter the tower is just one screen away.
All right, will it open when he walks in front of it? No. 6 crystals. Okay. So this is essentially now 6 crystal defeat Ganon.
Yeah, okay, so you gotta decide, since you're in go mode, nothing is hidden behind the tower, which dungeon are you not going to do?
Well, this is where things get a little interesting too. Actually, no, never mind. No, he knows his 2 crystals he's going to do. He's going to do Swamp and Mire, because those are guaranteed crystals. He doesn't know between Ice and Turtle Rock which is a crystal and which is a pendant.
And as I think we were thinking about Swerb doing Desert Palace, did Agina looking for those mitts, which are up on Spiral Cave. Unfortunate, he went to Spike Cave instead of Spiral on his way down the mountain, and GFE found him first.
So, for Swerve to catch up at this point, he's got to leave Desert and go straight back up Death Mountain. If he does that, he still has a chance. But even then, now that sword difference is looming bigger.
Yeah, and the best time to get that is, I guess, after GFE does Swamp. Because it takes a lot more for Swerb to head back there. All right, and since this is MC Shuffle, only looking for that big key, trying to find it soon so he can get straight back to Vitreous. Just remind me, JP, where were the silver arrows?
Silver arrows were in the... I forget what chest it is. They were in Swamp, in the chest below the big chest. So if GFE goes into full go mode, he likely is not going to pick those up.
Okay. So that's still a little bit of a factor here, because you could end up with Master Sword Silverless or Tempered Sword Silverless versus a Master Sword Silvers. That could definitely be a factor.
Yeah, I think optimally Tempered Sword Silverless is still faster, but if you can do Master Sword Silvers well, you can still make it pretty close.
All right, in this spooky action brought to you by GFE, be sure to give both Swerb and GFE a follow. Running this ALTTPR League race, Mystery Week, Week 5. We got a lot more to go this week. Be sure to also give our tracker Jinxie Girl a follow, and if you care to, you can go ahead and give my co-com, JP, and myself, Umaga, a follow.
We have our second Landmola fight here. So if this is anything, if this is not random boss shuffle, that's our last Landmola. If we see a third Landmola, though, we know what the boss shuffle is. But actually, that doesn't even give us info to what boss shuffle we've got, because 2 Landmolas can happen in any of them.
Right. As we mentioned, the nuance here is that, all 10 bosses, right, including what's in Ganon Sour, will be shuffled amongst each other. So that includes 2 Armos, 2 Landmolas, and 2 Moldorms. And that being our first duplicate, and it's a Landmolas, doesn't tell us a whole lot. But have not seen any of those late game bosses just yet.
Well, Swerb is going to go check Bombo's tablet first, so he's going to get his Tempered Sword. I'm actually a little surprised GFE's not going to go pick up the Tempered Sword first.
Yeah, that would make Argus a bit easier. And if he's going to pick it up anyway, it pays out more to get it before Swamp.
Yeah, but this could be good overall for Swerb, because he might go up to Death Mountain now to check Ether, and then after that he'll go back to Spiral Cave most likely. Doesn't look like he's going to do that. He's going for Dark Cross. I don't think he ever did that.
No, he didn't. And we did find that mail there. So red mail's nice, but it's certainly no Titan Smiths.
Yeah, at this point we can safely say GFE has the lead.
And with it being such a pain and a time sink to go up the mountain from the start, I don't blame Swerb for doing these checks, exhausting them before deciding, oh shoot, I gotta go up to Spiral Cave. Because if he went to Spiral Cave first, then that's nothing. That's a huge time sink in itself.
Okay, Mountain Cave starts. And he's floating. He's going to do Skullwoods.
Now, we saw the front of Skullwoods. I don't believe we saw the back from GFE. No, we have not.
We've not. People talking about if it would have been better for GFE to pick up the Tempered before or after swamp. I think it's still better to do it before because, yes, it's extra mirror transitions, but I don't know if there's any bosses here that you wouldn't gain time with Temperate Overmaster. I think maybe Armos. That's the only one you really wouldn't gain time over. I think every other boss... Well, Blind too, I guess.
So GFE did not get those silvers in the compass chest in Swamp Palace. So we're going to see a Master Sword or Tempered Sword silverless fight coming up. Well, depending on where that fourth sword is. We have no idea where that fourth sword is yet.
Now, since we do have to go to GT and we do have to find the big key, I think we can start our game.
That is enough crystals to do the GT big key game. Yeah, let's get the bot started. All right, put your numbers in chat. Anything 1 through 22, whole numbers only, please. And let us know where you think the big key to Ganon's Tower is. What do you say today, JP?
Well, by the way, there's a second Moldorm. This is looking pretty much like simple boss shuffle now. But I'm gonna say my usual guess of 15.
Okay. Well, I've entered 9, and if these runners route like I do, that's going to be the Fire Snake route.
Yeah, unfortunately, we got the Moldorm in the Mothula Arena, which basically Moldorm in Mothula Arena can really not do anything. He's just kind of stuck. Speaking of being stuck, never mind. He was able to get past the dead rock. But yeah, everyone wanted to see the fabled Helmicopter, but no Helmicopter today.
Yeah, that room is such a silly room in Randomizer. You can see a whole bunch of weird boss movements and mechanics in that room. All right, and keep those guesses coming. We will stop the count, stop the bot, as soon as GFE enters the Ganon's Tower. And if you did guess correctly, you will get some internet points. The best points of all. Swerb disappointed at those 10 arrows on Saha.
Okay, now he's going to make his climb. Check Ether and then check Spiral Cave and get the bad news. For GFE, he just needs to find the big key in the basement of GT and then make his climb. Alright, we are stopping the game. First item is a heart. Alright, chests 2 through 5, small key, a map to ice. Another small key, and the big key.
So what's that, 5?
Yep, that was chest 5.
Wonderful. And Shady Horse Games, you win today's Ganon Tower Big Key guessing game Congratulations on your 35 points.
And there's the myths for Swerb. I don't know if that was last location, but it was pretty close to it.
Yeah, because he went and checked Ether Tablet and Saha before actually doing anything up on the mountain over here. So unfortunate play for Swerb. He had really two ways down the mountain, Spiral Cave or Spike Cave. Chose the latter and wound up last location. It goes Titan's Mitts.
So Swerve's gonna go check the. He's gonna go check the tower right now and find out he needs one more crystal for it.
And actually, being up here, I wonder if he just does Turtle Rock. Now, GFE had the advantage of not having done a couple more dungeons, so he could go down the mountain and come back up, but Swerve is up here.
It's a tough call because just because you don't know it's a 50-50 shot. But it looks like he is going to do exactly that. Oh, we do know it's a crystal. Okay. And here's our first occurrence of Vitreous today. So we're not going to see Trinex in this. Well, actually, we still might see one on Swerve's side. We're not going to see Trinex. We're not going to see Argus.
Yeah, there's only a certain set of bosses that can actually be placed in that Moldorm 2 room. So the ones you mentioned, not able to be placed there.
Yeah, we could still see a cold stare. But both of our medallion requirements were Bombos, so Ether and Quake had no real value for us in this one.
And as we've deduced, and our tracker has placed on the trackers here, Ice Palace was our last pendant.
Oops! You never want to swing your sword if you're on that moving platform.
Yeah, unfortunately, you do have a chance to get knocked off if you swing your sword there. There's our first cold stare. So our first, no, actually we saw Vitreous below, but we do see actually finally cold stare here. And a quick cold stare.
And so basically all the randomness of the seed is now kind of done. All the mystery is basically behind us. For GFE, all he is a standard finish of Aga 2 and a silverless Ganon fight.
Very nice start to Aga 2. Looks like what was that, a triple and a double? It was, and a little bit too aggressive on that third round, but places that last energy ball right into Agadim. Out pops Ganon, will open up the pyramid, and it's time to take down the big pig.
All right. GFE's in pretty good shape here. Red mail, tempered sword. I think he's got some potions for safety as well.
Yeah, did get a spin-off, so looks like he could get this 1-1 here on tempered. Quickly on to phase 3.
Now it's just a matter of getting the torch glitch and 12 spins. Well, Swerb will not have to do laser bridge. He can go straight to the boss from here. GFE getting the news that the silvers were in swamp.
Yeah, for all he knows, they could have been on the left side, though. GFE is on to phase 4. Swerb almost to the boss of Turtle Rock. I am curious to see what this boss is. At this point, there's only a few things it could be.
Ooh, that was an early spin for GFE. Let's see, just for fun, Swerb gets an Argus.
All right, our first Argus fight.
So we suspect this was simple boss shuffle, as GFE takes down Ganon.
And get your GGs in chat for GFE, who finishes with a racetime.gg time of 1 hour, 20 minutes exactly.
Yeah, I mean, for a mystery seed, that was probably on the tamer side of what we'll see this week. But still, a nice mystery seed to start us off.
Yeah, absolutely. We are joined by GFE, our winner tonight. GG's.
Hey, thanks.
All right, let's see if we can get GFE. Might be having some mic issues.
Can you hear me? Hey guys, can you hear me?
We can hear you. You're a little quiet, but I can hear you now.
Alright. Hey, thanks for the GGs.
Yeah. So GFE, the big turn here was when you were on the mountain. You went to Spiral Cave. Swerb had done Spike Cave, and you came up with the Titans. He nearly last location them. That was the big game changer here.
Yeah, we were discussing it after the fact, and I mean, I understand the play, the way he routed the mountain, going hook shot side first. That's one reason I went up to Hera first, is I hate making that decision. Do I do Spike Cave or Spiral Cave? I'd rather route in both, so definitely worked out this time.
So
go ahead, JP.
Yeah. So for a mystery seed, that probably. How are you feeling about that? Is that something that were you kind of relieved to see that as mystery, or were you hoping for something a little more, a little different?
I'll be honest. I was pretty disappointed when I saw the Randomizer and there weren't actually shuffled enemies. That was a downer for me. little too tame of a seed.
So you wanted you wanted Mystery to throw the kitchen sink at you.
Let's just say I've rolled 3 League Mystery Seeds. The first was Swordless Crosskeys Randomizer, and the other 2 were some inverted nonsense with a ruby bow and big key, small key shuffle. So, yeah, I was prepared for something worse.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree that this is tamer, but I think by nature, and we were discussing this a little bit, by nature, the league settings are relatively tame to what you could get. So, any other thoughts on how this played out? It was a 6-5, which is pretty cool. You had the choice of doing Meyer, Swamp, and TR.
Yeah, we were discussing. I had to ask him what the last crystal was because I never knew for sure. I forgot to talk to Sahasrara, so I was between Ice, which the map for that was in GT, and Skull and TR. And since I knew Meyer and Swamp, just went ahead and did those 2, and it seems that was the best decision anyway because TR would have been the longest. I will say one thing. I'm glad to hear that he also did the same. You may or may not have noticed that I completely forgot I had Dark World access.
We actually were talking about that early on, that both of you did not go immediately to the pyramid and check out what the goal was, which in Mystery is very important to do, because we were debating, what it possibly could be, pedestal or reduced crystals, fast Ganon, and eventually we learned it was 6-5 defeat Ganon. But yeah, the Dark World access was held off by both of you.
Yeah, I was pretty disappointed it wasn't Ped after I had went to Agona and got baited into a full clear of Pendant Desert. And then shortly after that, realized that I'd had Dark World access since Escape. Zora also letting me down. I did, while I was on my way to Zora was when my brain kicked in, and I realized Dark World access was a thing. So when Zora dropped the Ice Rod, I was like, hey, I mean, I may have been stupid, but maybe this'll make up for it. And then of course there were 0 Trinets. I'm guessing had to be either Ice Palace or Ice Armos or Ice Trinex, because I got information from Swerb on the others.
Yeah, actually, we would have seen an Ice Trinex one way or another if you had done Ice Palace or Bottom of the Basement. But yeah, didn't see him today.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's technically not guaranteed we would have had a Trinex. There was a chance that it was a Chaos Shuffle, but
yeah,
from everything we looked at, it looked like it was going to be a simple shuffle.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. Definitely. I think we saw 2 Landmo was the only thing I saw 2 of, I believe.
We saw 2 Landmo and 2 Moldorms.
Okay, so TR had a Moldorm?
No, Skullwoods had a Moldorm.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, yeah, Swerb said they last location those myths, so that makes sense. Feels bad for something like that to be the difference in the seed. But Rando's gonna do its thing.
Well, this is the first of 2 matches between your 2 teams. Can you give us any thought on who's running the second mystery seed?
That will be Sabotinder and Peekabow's. So I don't think they've got that scheduled yet, unless they did it during the match. But I'm hoping my boy Sabo can pull out another win for us. we had a really rough start to the season, and some of our last week was our least favorite week, and we drew the only undefeated team left in the Invitational League, so that didn't work out too well. But yeah, I know Sebo's going to bring his best, and with Mystery, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, this could have been a 20 out of 30 Triforce hunt that took 30 minutes for all we know. But this is kind of a middle of the road seed.
Yeah, you guys are still fighting for playoff spots. I mean, even though you're at 6 points. I mean, looking at your division with Andromeda Drifters like kind of just running away with this division, it kind of helps you a little bit because it keeps you in the running.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a chance. Right now, I'm more focused on just keeping our spot in Invitational League, which I think we should be able to do.
That's.
I'd say weeks 6 and 7 are kind of our strong suit, at least in my opinion. So I think we should do pretty well in those.
Yeah, that's something we don't talk about much, but that is, I think, for a lot of teams who are kind of at the bottom of their divisions, getting at least out of the bottom spot is just as important as anything else. And it's kind of a nice thing about the league, too, is that because of that, we're going to see teams playing their hardest throughout the season. Not saying that some people are going to, not play their hardest every game, but, the teams who are out of it might be a little less motivated. But, that with that extra element to it, people are going to be playing out this the entire way. So it's going to be interesting to see how these last few weeks play out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good change to the league. It always gives you something to play for. Oh, where in Swamp were silvers, by the way? I noticed Swerb has those.
Compass chest, I believe. So it would have been the chests, chest south of the big chest.
Not that rude. Not left side or anything.
Yeah, we were debating if you were gonna just treat this as full-on go mode or head to them. Real quick, though, Swerve has taken down Ganon, is ready to cross the bridge, get the Triforce, save Hyrule, and he does so in an official racetime.gg time of 1 hour, 30 minutes, 41 seconds. So get your GGs in for Swerve and Seal W. See if we can get Swerve in here for post-game interview.
You just did check the schedule. Looks like Sabatender and Pika Pals is not scheduled yet.
All right, and let's welcome Swerve to the commentator booth. Welcome, Swerve. GG's.
Yo, thanks.
Hey, GG's, Swerve.
GG's, dude.
That's just a rough way for it to go.
Yeah, I mean, it happens.
Yeah, definitely.
As
More often than it should, to be honest.
Sent a message in group chat with my teammates. I was like, sometimes you just skip a location because you don't feel like doing it and lose.
Yeah.
It also helps out by the time I'd been going back there, I was like, well, I'm 100% gonna lose, so it's alright. The only hope I had is somehow if you didn't do that early Zora stuff, like I said, because that was also me. Well, you both had that hope of oh well, maybe this will make up for something somewhere, and that Samaria. You needed that for either Mire or a Turtle Rocky or 6 crystals, so if somehow you found the mitts and those sent you to Ice Palace, or you dipped Mire without the Samaria or something, that was my only chance, but I wasn't really counting on that.
Yeah, I mean, since I didn't know how it was going, I was hoping that Trinex would be at Land Mode 2 and GT, because I knew it was pretty much a simple shuffle, most likely. So
Yeah.
I knew you could get 6 crystals without facing Trinex, unless he was there, because I had water walked the Zora area before I had money, and so I actually went back solely to do Zora before I realized I had my Dark World access. So it felt really bad until that Ice Rod happened, and then it felt really bad again when there was no Trinex.
Yeah, there was like I think there was like a 300 rupee in, maybe it was inside Eastern. But I just remember after Eastern or maybe it was somewhere in Escape. I don't know. After somewhere in there, I just realized I was really close, and I'd already checked the stun drop that it was like big 20, and so I was like, oh, okay, I'll just stun and kill one enemy, and I'll have 500 rupees, so let's just go do Zora. And I found the Samaria, and then I found that Ice Rod, and I was like, okay, hopefully these bail me out, because that's kind of... I realized, oh, yeah, I can just go into the Dark World.
So actually, knowing that this was full boss shuffle, Swerb, you picked up the Ice Rod just as GFE was in Desert Palace, and we were expecting a Trinex fight from GFE. It wasn't, but it was very possible to have.
Yeah, that was also something, like, when I was making that late desert dip, after finding the book, I was kind of like, well, there's a good chance he found this early, and, like, all of desert, besides the boss, could be, like, really early on, like, sphere-wise. I was like, but maybe the boss is, like, a Trinex or something, and, like, he came in here and got stopped there, and I was like, if mitts are, like, if this boss is Trinex and he drops the mitts, I could be okay. Like, I was just trying to come up with every scenario that could have possibly saved me, and none of them came up, and I was like, okay, well...
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wish it had been a Trinex, considering it drop dependent. I'd rather not gotten that. But I know exactly what you mean. You get in that mindset. You know you made that one skip, and you're just praying that any dumb scenario is going to save you, and then you have to go back there.
Yeah.
I've done that myself many times, and it is one of the worst feelings in Rando.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, it's just like, I don't even know why I made that decision, really. Like, I just didn't feel like doing Spiral Cave. I was just like, there's 2 items down here, or there's like, I hadn't even seen the top of Spectacle Rock, so I was like, oh, I can jump down, check that, check inside the cave, do Spike Cave, and then I have, like, all of Swamp open, and that seems, like, more likely, so let's just do that.
Yeah, it's perfectly...
As soon as I jumped down, I was just committed to, well, if it's in Spiral Cave, I'm probably SOL.
Yeah, it's a perfectly reasonable skip.
And it just so happened it was Spiral Cave. Also, like, yeah. Oh well.
Rando gonna rando.
I'm a little disappointed with the mystery settings, unfortunately.
Yeah, same. We were talking about that earlier. I wanted something a little more spicy than this.
Yeah, this was rather tame as far as mystery goes.
Yeah, I also kind of forgot that it was even like that Randomizer was even on the menu when I first went into Thieves Town, because I hadn't been to any boss rooms yet, and then I got to Blind Cell and she wasn't there, and I was like, oh yeah, it's Randomizer, and it's obviously got to be boss shuffle. Whoopsies.
Well, I mean,
and then the mirror's down there, so I mean it's kind of working. I never really do the I'm doing a check. I mean, I get why people do it, but I usually don't. Like, if I go into Thieves Town, even if I know it's boss shuffle and I can, like, if I have the hammer and I can just full clear it, I usually just go down to the basement before doing the boss anyway.
See, I'll usually rush the boss, skip the rest. The only reason I didn't in this one is because maps and compasses were shuffled, so I knew there were more items back there.
Okay, I guess that's a fair point. I mean, yeah, it's a very situational thing. I guess, like, if, like, maps and shuffle, like, or maps and compasses aren't shuffled and, like, you get, like, 3 items in the front, then...
Yeah, then I would have rushed the boss, for sure.
Then, yeah, 100%. But, like, yeah, knowing that there was, like, 100% going to be something in the big chest, too, unless it was, like, the big key, or not the big key, but the small key locked in there. It just seemed like, might as well go down there.
All right, so we did talk about the next game between the two teams, Sabo Tender versus Pika Pals, yet to be scheduled. What are you guys looking forward to in the rest of the season? There's really two more. There's AD Keys, and then there's a co-op Randomizer.
Probably the co-op.
Yeah, I mean,
I like never touch AD keys, so I don't even know if I'll be racing the next week. We gotta figure that out. I think Nabs might need another race, and that would be a fun one to throw him at. So, because I think I've raced every week.
wow.
So far.
Yeah, you need a break.
Yeah, I
took-
have.
I took my break last week as we got slaughtered.
Last week is the spoiler code. Like I absolutely love that mode. I think it's really neat, but it's just so tough and stressful.
Yeah, I'm on the opposite end of that spectrum, but I can see the draw of it. I'm looking forward to the co-op Randomizer, mainly because Randomizer is one of my favorite things in Rando. I enjoy all the crazy nonsense. As long as thieves are killable, then I'm okay.
Yeah, agree. Like Randomizer is just a lot of fun. Like really, I don't know, it captures kind of the spirit of Rando for me, where like, you know, you're just gonna be put into situations that you're not used to. Like you can't just like enter a room and like have muscle memory take over, because all of the rooms are gonna be like, you have to do them differently because there's gonna be different enemies in them. And so I like really like the having to kind of like adapt to the situation in each room on the fly. And co-op in general is just like a cool settings for this kind of like the league when you're on a team. I really like the co-op stuff that kind of emphasizes the fact that you're on a team instead of just like, oh, we'll all play our one-on-ones and see where we're at.
Yeah, I'm really glad there's more co-op this season. I think it really fits with fits with what the league's meant to be.
Yeah.
All right, I think that about does it for us here. JP, anything to close us out?
I don't think so. I think you covered most everything there. You know, we'll see how you guys play your second race. You know, good luck to you as you continue on. Yeah, I think we are good to wrap up. Thanks for, of course, give our runners a follow. Thank them for their race today. You know, they put on a good show for us. Yeah, also thanks to our tracker, Jingsy Girl, and my co-camera, Lumaga.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks JP, and have a good night, everybody.
Actually, one more thing to finish off for tonight. I was going to give a look ahead at our schedule for tomorrow. We got a lot of races tomorrow. A lot of races tomorrow. It looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 races from what I can count here. Starting at 1:10 Eastern, Tito versus Yoshi. And an hour later, we got Gem versus Walther to kick off the day. And then between 6:10 and 9:10, we have 7 races scheduled to start. We'll see how many of those we'll get some restreams on. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be a very busy day. So make sure to check out the schedule. And of course, the rest of the SpeedGaming schedule as well. Yeah, I think that will probably sign off. So yeah, have a good night, everybody.